Well, yet another episode of Business Ahas. It's been years since we started the program, and I'm thinking back of the start of the days that we formed Board Developer in 2007, and we started growing our business by, one board at a time, one board member at a time, and over the course of time and continuing to grow. And about 15 years ago, I met a gentleman by the name of Brett. And then one day, Brett mentioned to me, hey, I'd like you to meet my buddy Matt because of what he's doing in his business and the success that he's had, that I might be able to help him build a board as well as I did for his company, for Brett's company. So he introduced me to Matt, and you might guess, my guest is Matt today. So Matt Chitwood is the CEO, not founder, but CEO of PIVIUM, PIVIUM.com. So PIVIUM is an audio-visual integrator. You might say, well, what's an audio-visual integrator? We'll get there. We'll have some fun with it today, but it's a really great story. So Matt's dad, Dean, founded the company many, many moons ago when he was selling RCA console televisions. These are the ones that have these like big wood boxes and the 25-inch TV. So his dad was selling RCA TVs back in the 50s and 60s, literally door to door. So started the consulting firm, it grew. Matt took over the business. Matt continued to grow, at the time, DNL Communications, until the time that we went through a big branding change, which happened actually with the board. Obviously, I'm leading to something. And it turned out what would be PIVIUM today. So with that, gosh, I know there's a little bit of a long intro coming in, but it's unusual to get to be with a friend, a colleague, and spend a ton of time together as the organization continues to grow and what we've been through as a team. So Matt, buddy, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah.
So as you well know, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. You don't know what they are. And I'm going to get to hear them for the very first time. And now been together now for upwards of 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we've churned and burned board members. Love the value of some board members that have been the board members since the very first board meeting that we had at PIVIUM, going from DNL Communications to PIVIUM, and hiring the branding company to go through that. It's been quite a great ride, right?
Yeah, it's been a great ride.
And
awesome ride.
And they talk about roller coasters. What they always say, it's, just don't get off.
Sure. Yeah, right. And some of those board members have not gotten off.
No.
Right.
And they've been great.
Crazy, yeah.
Great for us.
Yep.
Obviously your dad founded the company. So one of the first questions is, how'd you get really engaged in the organization? But was it because of your dad? Because obviously, from your educational background, you got your MBA at ASU, where you met Amy Hillman, our mutual friend, Dr. Hillman. But what led you to like, hey, I really want to do this now with my career?
I was the real reason is I was at a point in my career where I was going to either have to move back to the East Coast to advance in the company I was working for, or I was going to have to figure out something else to do. And my dad had started this business and had been operating this business and had gotten a little bit bigger than really what he wanted it to be. I mean, he had started this as a little side consulting thing to kind of bridge from a acquisition to retirement.
Isn't it true that they mentioned to him in the very beginning, you need to have a company name so we can bill you? And he's like, well, I don't really have one. And
yeah, which is how a lot of those businesses start out. It's I'm just going to do this thing that I love to do. And then all of a sudden you're like, I've got a business here. I've got to figure out all these things to do. I need an accountant. I got to
and he's not with all due respect, not a big business guy.
Well, that was the thing. Yeah, that was the thing. He came from corporate. He came from corporate. I mean, he was a corporate guy.
RCA is the thing, right?
Sure.
Back then.
Yeah. And so he started this little consulting business, and then it grew, And quite honestly, when he started it, I was in high school, and this thing just grew and grew. And then he saw an opportunity with a company based out of Ohio, moved the family to Ohio after I graduated high school. And then all of a sudden he had something to it. And next thing you know, we're selling this company's product.
And started in Ohio?
The consulting business that my dad started in New Jersey. And then we moved, the family moved to Ohio. And then where the business really took root was in Ohio. when my dad started this little consulting business when I was in high school in the early 90s, he said he had a lot of contacts throughout the industry, and he saw this opportunity in healthcare for this nurse call product, and he ended up buying the nurse call product from the manufacturer, became the primary distributor of this nurse call product. And we were doing a lot of things like making like board level repairs. So like people on his team were like soldering repairs on these electronic boards to make these things work. And hospitals would ship in these little boards, and we'd make these soldering repairs and replace little.
We might call those circuit boards.
So yeah, circuit boards, right? Yeah.
But don't really much exist anymore.
Oh no, it's very rare. I'm sure there probably are lots of them out there, and it's kind of but it's a dying.
Sure.
It's a dying skill, and in fact, when I was in the summer during college, I would sit in this little barn that was our office and do those soldering repairs on these electronic boards.
Little barn,
which
was within our office,
which was our office,
which was your
which
office.
was our office. Yeah, it was a cute little barn in downtown Springboro, Ohio, which is just south of Dayton.
With all due respect, you can't make up that shit.
No, right. Yeah, it was the one of the most quaint offices I've ever seen. A tiny little town.
Clearly, you're in a barn.
Yeah.
There's Millie the cow.
Right. I mean, in all fairness, it probably had been a real barn at some point, but it looked like a barn. That was like the first D&L Communication Systems office. My approach after college was sort of this, I don't know, the world is my oyster. I'll go anywhere. I don't care.
I'm a single guy.
I had no fear. I was ready for anything. So, I kid you not. I literally combed through the classifieds ads in the newspaper
in the Arizona Republic.
Yep. And I applied for this job, and I got a response. I applied for a few, I presume. Whatever I felt about this one response I got was positive. And
was it a call they gave you?
They called me.
Right,
they called me
because there was no email.
There was email. It just wasn't a whole lot of email. It wasn't as ubiquitous as it is now. At all.
Yeah.
But I got this response, and this woman called me, and her name is Terry Lee, and she said, "Hey, I want you to come in for an interview." Went and had the interview, and I came out, and everything was great. And as I'm walking out of the company, out of the business, they're hanging a new sign on the front of the building. The company had been called Harco Industries, and the sign that was going up was AT&T. In my conversation with them, we didn't talk a lot of details about what was happening. I just knew there was a new owner of the business, and but I left going, I think this company might give me a chance. I'm fresh out of college. Here I am, like, all right, I'm going to work for AT&T. Didn't know what that meant. Didn't know, but I did know my major was telecommunications. I thought this is going to be a good fit. Telecommunications major. They're hiring me. I'll get in there and I'll figure this out. I'll be awesome, whatever responsibility they give me.
Now, fast forward 9 years later, you leave working for AT&T, had this knowledge base, but really not connecting the dots that it was going to be your future.
I had absolutely no clue. I went into the real world going, I'll take anything and I'll kick butt at it, and I'm going to be good, and I'll figure it out. And I didn't have a place I wanted to go into, a career. I just thought I just figured I'd be good at anything I did. In hindsight, that seems a little bit it's overconfident.
It's not being like braggadocious, but you were kind of a free spirit.
Sure.
You wanted to have a good time.
I was.
And you knew you were good at what you did.
Sure.
And you knew you would perform well. And you knew that whatever the road led you down based upon whatever belief system you have, that you would get there.
Yep.
Fair?
Completely. Fair. So my dad, at about the same time I had that kind of realization that, hey, family's coming. I got to figure this out. Where am I going to end up? My dad says, hey, this business has gotten a little bit big for what I had originally planned.
Do you remember the conversation?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
I remember exactly where we were.
Where were you? And tell me about that.
Literally driving down the 101. And he says to me, hey, I just want to let you know I'm thinking about selling my business. This has happened. It's gotten big. I've got employees now. I've got a warehouse now. It's like a little bit bigger than I really ever thought it would be. I don't have the appetite for that right now.
And you're driving the car?
I'm driving the car.
And
he says that, and I go, oh, I'm like, oh, that's great. Like,
good for you.
How can I help you? Yeah. So he says, hey, I've been talking to this bank. Let me send you the document they sent me. They've been doing evaluation and doing these things. And then I was like, at first I'm like, I'll completely help you with that. And then I started to think, wait a minute, like, he's got a heck of a good start here. This is pretty interesting. I wonder what we could potentially do with this business.
Are you processing
together.
the car like right then?
No, I mean, I right then it was all like, hey, sure, I can help you out with that. And then I started to think about it. Wait a minute, like, maybe we could do this together. Maybe we could capitalize on what he's already done. I can put my low voltage experience to use in this business, and we could do something bigger together. So
what was the next step?
In the next few weeks, my thoughts began to pivot. I was like, wait a minute, like, maybe there's an opportunity here. My wife and I are about to have our first kid in a few months. Maybe we can do something together. So I went back to him and I said, hey, I'm interested in working for you. And I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if you can pay me. I don't know how that all is going to work, but here's my idea. He said, let's do it. And that was
just like that.
Yeah. He had this entrepreneurial spirit. He said, let's do it. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. I think he probably thought he had nothing to lose. I don't know that he had ever, quite honestly, thought that he would ever have a son involved in his business. I never thought about that. It didn't even cross my mind ever until that conversation on the 101. And all of a sudden, here we are.
When did you realize that this was your calling? This low voltage audio visual communications world of being in a organization in this space, or I mean, defining like that point of like you're realizing that, yeah, I'm really good at this. Were you still at AT&T? Was it D&L? What point?
Ooh, so I absolutely loved, so that the role I had that at AT&T in the first couple of years, I was behind a computer answering phone calls, and then I went on the road and I learned the low voltage trade, and I worked with my hands, and I absolutely love that. A lot of reasons I love that job.
And you got to be outside.
Oh,
got to meet
be
people.
Outside. I traveled from Sunday afternoon to Friday night. I was at a different college campus every week, and I'm literally just out of college. It was a dream job.
Loved it.
But I learned the low voltage trade. I learned how to install systems and wiring and all that kind of stuff. And I loved working with my hands. When I got into PIVIUM, or D&L, now PIVIUM, and I started working with our installers, now I'm going, wait a minute. Now I'm seeing the business from their perspective because I've been in their shoes before.
After you've already now started working for Dad.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Now I'm communicating with our installers. We've got people on the ground. They're traveling all around the country doing this installation work.
And here, Matt, you get it.
I get it. I get it.
And the light bulb goes off.
The light bulb goes off.
You're like, hey, I wait a minute. I know this shit.
Yep. And I loved getting into the details and the nuances and work with my hands. And I love traveling to the job sites and being with these guys and gals in a couple of cases and doing the stuff that they were doing. I absolutely love that. It was a thrill.
Okay. My last question for you. But I'm really curious. What was that one thing that hit you as being the most impactful aha moment that you've ever experienced in your entire life?
Interesting. You mentioned my dad. Something that I think, looking back, and I'm kind of leading into it. And I said this at my dad's funeral. He was a corporate guy up until he
wasn't.
until he wasn't, right? He started this business and then things were different. But he was a corporate guy for most of my childhood because he started this business when I was like about to graduate high school. And he traveled a lot. And I never felt, even though he traveled week after week after week, I never felt like he wasn't there. He coached my teams. He was commissioner for the leagues. He did all those things. And I never felt like he wasn't there. And so when I got into this business, we had our first kid, second, third came quickly. It was really important to me to protect my time. And because that's the way I was raised. I had a dad that protected his time. And I don't know, maybe he was only there 20% of the time. I don't know, but he made me feel like he was always there. Mm-hmm. And that was important for me, for my family. Mm-hmm. And so my aha moment would probably be as things started to take off in the business and we're firing on all cylinders and we're growing. And then especially when we got to the point of launching PIVIUM.
You mean the name change?
The name change.
Uh-huh.
It was really important to me to protect my time.
Because we were growing.
We were growing.
Significantly.
Yep. Both personally and professionally. Now, I can control the professional part. On the personal side, I've got a partner, my wife, who is a huge helper in helping me protect our personal time. Because in that kind of environment, I tend to be social. I want to do everything. I want to jump on everything. I want to participate in everything that's going on, especially with 3 young kids. I want to do it all. And she's always been really, really good about helping me protect our personal time so we can protect our family time.
Your partner.
My partner. Yeah.
Partner in life.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
And then, I've had a number of tools over the years that help me protect my business time.
Mm-hmm. So the aha moment, if I may,
mm-hmm.
is Dad really instilling to you, making you feel as though that you were always there. And that always being there is something that you've instilled in your mm-hmm. professional and your personal life. Because I will tell you, if I call you at 8:00 at night on a Tuesday, you're probably not going to answer.
Mm. Correct. Yeah.
I don't call to talk about the weather.
Sure. Right.
But you're probably not going to answer because of how much my relationship with you, I've respected the fact of giving you your personal time.
Right.
And you value that on a scale of 1 to 10, a 10.
Completely.
More so than business.
Yeah.
And more so than the business's success.
It's been
is it a
daily
struggle?
struggle, but you're absolutely correct.
But I wonder, why does it have to be a struggle? Why does putting family first have to be a struggle? People say, oh, I put my family first. Well, do you really? So, Matt, I've known you for upwards of 10 years.
I try every day.
You put family first all the time. You say, hey, Jim, I got to go. Well, where are you going? Well, my daughter's got a volleyball game. Well, we weren't done talking. Like, where at?
Sure.
So I go to the volleyball game with you, which we've done.
That worked out good.
And it worked out good.
Really good, yeah.
Yeah. And I get on an airplane. I'm like, what are you doing here? We're flying to see my daughter.
Yep.
In college.
Yep.
Family first.
First. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that aha moment was you instilling in yourself what Dad instilled to you, this feeling you have that he may not have really done it, but your kids, if you ask them, has Dad always put you first? And maybe you would like for them to be able to say, you hope they might be able to say, is it, he's always put us first. He has always put us first. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, I hope so, obviously. I mean, I think most dads would say that, but I truly think they will.
So I think the message might be to any kind of entrepreneur that's out there when somebody says, hey, yeah, I put family first, or I put my work before my business, or at the end of the day, what's the most important thing in your life? Your family and your friends. It isn't how many hours you worked, how much money you made.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's about your family. It's interesting. You said something earlier. We went from the company name from D&L Communications to PIVIUM. And then PIVIUM, we went through this whole manifestation, hired a marketing firm based upon the board's recommendation. They came up with a gazillion different names, and we came up with PIVIUM, which is kind of the root of the word what?
Pivot.
Huh.
Pivot.
Guess who said that earlier?
Sure.
Have you made that correlation until right now?
True. I thought about it for a quick second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you pivoted.
Yeah.
Pivoted. And what PIVIUM does from a pivoting perspective is be able to do that. And they've also, you've probably heard the term, nobody does it like Sarah Lee. Remember that?
Nobody does it like Sarah
Lee.
Lee.
Yeah. But I wonder if you've ever really thought about it from a perspective. No one really does it like Terry Lee. Because guess what, Matt? If it wasn't for Terry Lee interviewing you for a job at this company, end up being acquired by AT&T, that then led you to understanding low voltage when you got to work in the field after you worked at the computer for so many years. And after 9 years, you're out in the field now and you've got to learn this low voltage trade. So is she still around?
She is, yeah.
You still stay in contact with her?
She's still here, yeah.
So
I haven't seen her in a number of years, but we communicate every once in a while.
So Terry Lee, thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you, Dean, for making Arizona feel like a fun place.
Fun.
Because if it wasn't fun, maybe you wouldn't have raised your entire family here, and you wouldn't have met your wife. Those are all things that if it wasn't Arizona being fun, wasn't about you choosing to pivot and think about, hey, what am I going to do with my next portion of my life? And then respecting people like Terry Lee, who found something, saw something in Matt that really changed the trajectory of your entire professional career. And it's about relationships. If you weren't going to church, you wouldn't have met Brett.
Correct. Yeah.
Who introduced
it's true.
You and I. And we wouldn't be down this path of going through a name change and all the changes in the organization where we are today. But I think it's fascinating because I think all too often we don't think about what is the kind of the most important things in our lives. And you, of all people, my entire life of knowing you, almost 10 years, you've always thought about the importance of the value of your family and what that value means. And being not just a father, but being a dad, but being a present dad all the time. And those sound like just words, right?
Sure.
But in reality, I've seen you live it. I mean, how many times have I been to a client in the 17 years of Board Developers' existence? How many times have I been to a client's kids' volleyball game? Any sports game for that matter. The answer is 0 times. Yeah. And for me, and I think for you as well, it's about relationships that we grow, relationship that we move forward with in our lives, and the impact that we make upon people. And if you can say that, at the end of the day, that I had success and my kids now put their families first, that means you were successful. And that measures success for you more than money.
Yep. Yeah, there's good things and there's great things, and there's a lot of good things and there's just a few great things, and
that's one of the great things.
That's one of the great things.
Yeah,
it really is.
And being successful, great.
Yep.
You're going to go on vacation, get to do X, get to do Y. Money doesn't buy you happiness.
Sure. Yep.
Success doesn't necessarily buy you happiness. Watching your family smile and say, "Hey, Dad, I love you, man."
Yeah.
That makes you smile.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for being here.
Pretty awesome. Yeah, this is great.
Well, there you have it. I was talking with Matt just a second ago after we finished with our conversation. He goes, "Wow, I was getting a little choked up, man." It's about life, and life about us making a difference in other people's lives, and the difference that we make in our friendships' lives, our families' lives, the difference we make in people's lives. And just because business is about growing business and being successful, it doesn't mean you can't be real. It doesn't mean you can't have the ability to really be kind of the best you can be all the time with the people that you love, that you care about, with every bit of your existence. And you just saw that. You just saw that with Matt. And I can't think of enough for sharing what, most importantly for me today, Matt shared his heart. And his heart talked about his relationship with his dad as he pivoted, and how he had the conversation on the 101 and meeting Terry Lee and having the ability to be able to grow in his business and be successful. And yeah, I'm a part of that, but I'm a little piece in the grand scheme of things, though. Matt's always really held strong to the values of his family, his wife Ann, his 2 boys and his daughter, and how much he loves them very, very dearly. So on behalf of myself and our entire team, thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.